So for those of you who didn't see my collab level review, I'm gonna put it in the description. I highly recommend watching that before watching this, as the original review is going to be extremely important to the context of this review. So, Collab Level got an update, and unlike the original version of Collab Level, this version of the level actually did manage to scare me. It caught me off guard in a way that I really didn't expect, and I think this went from being a pretty mediocre horror level to being the best horror level in this game, and I'm gonna break down exactly why. So, the level starts to get interesting right off the bat, as the level starts identical to the old Collab level. However, all of the screamers have been removed and all of the horror has been removed, so you just play through the intentionally generic part of Collab level. A lot of the parts I praised from the generic parts are actually still here, like the parts with the little claw can spinning around the jump rings. However, new parts have been added that look even better and more alive, with some of the blocks moving in very eccentric ways, and it just looks really, really nice. So at this point in the review, I'm going to go ahead and spoil all of the scares. So if you want to experience the Collab Level Halloween update without spoilers, stop watching now and go watch the original level, because this is where I'm going to start spoiling things. See, I kind of criticized Collab Level a lot in the original review because the scares start almost immediately and they're just lazy screamers. That was my opinion, and that's still my opinion. There was like one or two not so lazy portions, but a lot of it was just lazy screamers. So the Halloween update remedies these problems completely. First of all, the horror doesn't actually start until 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the level, which honestly caused me and a lot of other people viewing the level to doubt whether or not it was a horror level. Imagine how funny it would be if Mindcap just uploaded Collab Level without scares as a Halloween level, removing the scares. That'd be hilarious, right? This is fucking genius. It catches the audience off guard in a way that's kind of hard to replicate, and not to mention, the level complete animation looks genuinely so realistic that I actually fell for this one. It goes so into detail that they managed to make it so that there were particles on the screen, and all the particles disappear when you hit the end screen, which is supposed to give the illusion of the screen not moving. This is one of the most effective scares I've seen in GD as a whole, not just Collab Level. This is just amazing. But it doesn't just stop there. The level amps up over and over again. It does have that one problem where you have a really boring flying section that lasts a long time, but honestly, in this case, I feel like it's fine because it serves the useful purpose of building atmosphere. The atmosphere is done really well in this level, and I can praise it to the end of the earth for that. Remember the part where there was a knife about to go into some guy's eye in the original level and it looked like the icon was about to be stabbed by a needle? Yeah, so the eyeball thing was removed completely. Well, kind of. There's an eyeball in the ground in the section we're about to talk about, but that's about it. But for the most part, the eyeball thing was removed completely, and instead of it being a like frozen section where you're just kind of sitting there and there's a needle just sitting above the icon, in this version, you actually move during that scare. And I think this is a much better way of doing this because it just looks better. There's also this part, which is really well done. No, the footage you're looking at is not freezing. No, this isn't YouTube having a seizure. This is just an effect in the level. But this freeze looks so fucking real that I honestly thought I was having internet problems watching this video. This is really effective. Now don't get me wrong, does the level have goofy moments? Yeah, it does. There's this moment. Motherfucker, was that the jump scare sound from the Stanley Parable Confusion ending?
We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
To tell you the truth, though, as far as I can tell, unlike the original level, this is the only time the level borrows assets from any other game. In the original Collab level, it used the faces from I'm Scared. It had this fucking thing that I swear to God just looks like Germa's face. In this version, this is the only time I can say definitively that this sounds like it's from somewhere else. Everything else in the level looks unique, and I gotta praise it for that. But still, why the fuck does it use Stanley Parable audio? Now, the final thing I want to praise about this update is the end screen. Basically what they did for the end screen is, in the original Collab level, it ended with a really long screamer with very obnoxious and epileptic visuals. Yeah, no joke, I had to slow the footage down in my original video. In the Halloween update, this level does something really smart. See, to anyone who hasn't seen the original version of Collab level, this just looks like a normal end screen, but to people who have seen the original Collab level, what's actually going on is the cube is approaching the final jump scare, but it never happens. The level hypes you up and builds the expectation that you're about to see a loud screamer, but then it just never happens, and you float into this beautiful end screen. It's almost like the level's making fun of the state it used to be in. Making fun of the fact that the original was so screamer-heavy, because in this, it gets you ready for a screamer. In fact, you're almost, like, cowering, anticipating the screamer because you don't want your ears to fucking hurt, but the screamer never happens. And because of that, even though this end screen is more beautiful than anything, it leaves you with a very unnerved feeling that's sort of hard to describe and hard to replicate. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the update. This is a huge improvement in my opinion, because not only does it no longer have any screamers, but it's also just overall better executed than the original level. It doesn't steal as many assets. Oh, and something I forgot to mention in the review, the stupid hanging corpse portion of the level is just straight up removed. The fucking hanging bodies, yeah, that's just not a thing anymore. Which, honestly, good, because suicide should not be used as a crux to make things scary. I already said my piece on that in the original review, but I'm just reiterating, I'm really glad that that section was removed. And overall, I think that this is a huge improvement. So good job, Mindcap, on not just letting the level sit in its original state. And yeah, I can actually definitively say that Collab level is a good horror level now.